Flo, this guy. Best is subjective, of course, but gotta make a title. Let me give a quick sales pitch about Flow before I do like some spoiler stuff on it, and maybe do a tangential recommendation at the end. So, here's a few reasons why you should watch Flow. 1. Animals. This is fully an animal movie. All the characters are animals. There are no humans. There's no language being spoken. It's all about the animals. And the animals themselves are done with great care. As you might be able to tell from the poster, it's an animated film. So the creators have, full freedom over what the animals express and how they look. Their body language is really wonderful. Of the animals in the film, I'm, of course, most familiar with cats and dogs. And the way they move and interact and some of their little behaviors, the way their ears move, the little zoomies, things like that. They're all so good, so accurate, and they really lend a nice emotional dimension to these characters. Their behaviors and our pre-existing knowledge of these animals make for like instantly believable, recognizable, likable characters, right? There's just something about animals we latch on to, right? We like the innocence. We see them as sympathetic just right off the bat. That gives the movie such an advantage, especially like right when things are getting established. And the animal noises, of course. Sound should certainly get attention in this film because that's the way it's communicating these animals' emotions in addition to the body language, right? So much about animals, their emotional state, and the way we communicate with them in our limited way is through noises, through the barks and the meows and the chirps, I guess, whatever, other noises. They're all done so well. They communicate exactly as much emotion as they should. Number 2, visuals. Part is the animation itself, especially the backgrounds, the nature landscapes, things like that. A lot of those environments are just breathtaking. There are phenomenal shots in this movie that are gorgeous. Some of them are like there's a mixture of human environments mixed with nature, things like that. That all work great. I have no issues with any of the environments in the film. There's no physical disc yet, so I can't show many examples, but maybe if there's something in the trailer, I'll throw it up here. But in addition to the actual animation quality, I like the camera movement quite a bit. Very cinematic. There are a number of very long takes in the film. Some are chase scenes, some are kind of more meditative scenes where instead of, cutting around, the camera kind of swivels around to follow head movements and things like that. Follow action and keep scenes flowing for a long time, which seems like a great move for animation. I mean, given that you have full control over what the scene is going to look like, In theory, less cutting is demanded. Then you have the control to lay out the scene exactly as you want. You don't have to cut around like performances or whatnot because, again, in theory. Third is the emotion. I cried 3 times in this film. None of those were like the hardest I've ever cried in a movie, but all of them I think were meaningful. All of them were emotional moments that hit. And again, that ties back so much to the animals, the simplicity, the innocence they convey. Anytime you're seeing, these animals in peril, it's heartbreaking and you just want the best for them every time. So I think the emotion is well earned and extremely sympathetic. I think all of the emotional moments hit for me. Love the score as well. It's not like one of my favorites of all time, but I do think it's one of my favorites of the year. There's nice instrumentation, good dynamics. Many of the pieces have a nice, unique sound to them that I really appreciate. And they help fill out the environments along with the visual details, along with the sound details that go with each specific place. So everything feels nice, cohesive, but still unique in each spot. This was a fantastic experience for me. One of my favorite experiences of the year alongside Challengers. I would recommend this a lot. I got a lot out of it. This is a experience I'm going to cherish for a long time watching this movie. Of course, highly recommend. Please check it out. Hope that a movie like this can do well financially. So, the filmmaker gets some backing for a future venture if he wants one. So I'll jump into like a few spoiler points specifically. I'm gonna notate the few times I cried because I think they all say something about the movie's execution. The first one was when the bird, since they don't have names, I didn't name the bird. The bird fights the bigger bird and has its wing broken at the end. Well, for one, I love that scene, not just for the emotional impact, but I love the way they use the sun in that fight scene to just like give this extra like level of grandiosity to the fight. Throughout the movie, I think one of the things it does best visually is the way it uses the sun in a lot of these shots. And this is no exception. But of course, when it's got its wing broken, it's sad because of course he's supporting like the main character, the cat, but also, the coldness of the birds in their body language, right? Like the cat and the dog, very familiar. We have cats and dogs in our homes all the time. Some people have birds, obviously. Again, these animals are recognizable. You recognize the way the bird acts, what we might think of as unemotional body language, and the way it's, like breaking the bird's wing in that moment. Very cold in stark contrast to the recognizable emotions that we see in like the cat and the dog, and even the lemur. And then also this goes into part of the theme of having to, I suppose, make your own family that we experience from like this, the main troop. The bird gets rejected from his people. The lemur misses a chance to connect because of Good Boy, the dog, as I named him. But regardless, misses a chance to connect with his own kind. And even at the end, he has a chance to connect with them with the broken mirror, of course, perhaps symbolizing the broken, fractured relationship. Maybe they just wanted him for his things. The dog, of course, is a different type of character than his fellow dog compatriots. So all of them kind of become fractured from who they might belong with ordinarily and find, like this specific family unit as a result. And Bird is a part of that, even though he doesn't, join up in the same capacity. It's still part of the idea. The second was when the capybara is in the boat, the boat stuck in the tree right after the water recedes, and there's a chance he won't make it. Given that, a character has died earlier in the film, there is a certain expectation that, they are actually in real danger. And that lends the scene a good amount of weight. Although, something I do think is interesting is that the score over this scene or under this scene is kind of light and adventurous. And I guess I'm kind of tempted to frame that as a not good thing because it kind of feels like two different tones happening there that don't match up. But at the same time, I almost wonder if that's just like the movie trying to like reassure people like it's going to be okay. They'll figure it out. But even I think it still speaks to the power of animals and the emotional hold they have on us that, I wanted him to survive so badly that, I was so emotionally relieved when that resolved. It was great payoff for him, like catching the cat as well, who was trying so hard to help him. It's just a beautiful scene. And then the third one, definitely the weightiest for me, was when the giant catfish is dying. And I think that one's the most tragic and weighty moment in the film because, that fish, I keep calling it a catfish. I think it is. I don't know what it's supposed to be. Sea monster, whatever. I'm going to call it a catfish. It's kind of like pure good. Even the bird has like a little bit of complexity to it in the way that it's kind of a dick. It's a little bit standoffish. It's unwilling to go get the glass ball, stuff like that, So there's like, there's a little bit of unevenness. It's still sad when the bird dies. It's a beautiful scene in and of itself. But this catfish, it's just been good to the cat. It saved Cat's life, and the cat can do nothing. It's just standing there watching it die, unable to do anything but just be there for it. Extremely tragic. Speaks to the tragedy of life, because I think really the way I saw the film was basically just like a long sort of metaphor for the process of life, the process of living life. It's got highs and lows, people you find along the way, people you care about that become to care for you. Those people sometimes help you, sometimes hurt you. We saw Good Boy hurt the lemur, but you also see the good that people can be for each other, right? Like coming together, help rescue the capybara and the cat. So you get, the upside, the downside, the joy of living life along people you care about, right? Like the relief and the joy after they do the rescue. And then you get on the other side, the fact that you ultimately can't save people forever, right? You can't do anything to save the catfish is the inevitable end of life, unfortunately. So you have just like full upsides, downsides of life all together in this film. It's a beautiful thing. It's, something that the cat has to come to terms with, right? Like the cat is in a sense like the surrogate for the audience going through life. The cat has to come to terms with these tragedies, but the cat also has gained a family right through this whole ordeal, through this environment, through meeting these people, even meeting some people who do not belong with the group, right? Like the dogs, clearly not genuine friends, clearly not helping the group, right? Just eating up all the fish, breaking stuff and leaving. The real friends, the real blessings in life, they're sticking with the cat. That's, the beautiful mirror shots at the beginning and the end, right, of the reflection in the pool of just the cat and then the reflection of the pool with the whole group. Beautiful stuff, speaks to the truths, tragedies, triumphs of life. And I think, really that's just the thing. Just the emotional weight and resonance in this movie just makes it something completely special for me. All right, that's enough for spoilers. For the very end of the video, I will make a quick recommendation for a movie that's mildly similar. Mostly not similar because it has talking and it's about people, it's about Russia. But it does have the same feeling of using animals to communicate a strong point, communicating innocence, something like simple, natural, and beautiful. That's also animated. This is Tale of Tales, which is a 1979 film, I believe, from legendary animator Yuri Norstein. Very short, 30 minutes, so easy to check out. Much older, much different style of animation, certainly not as realistic-ish as some elements from this film are. But the wolf in that film is one of my favorite characters, any movie probably. Highly recommend that one as well if you have time to check that one out. But also please check out Flow if you get a chance to see it in theaters. Hope it gets some financial support. But that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one.